Lead by what you do, not just what you say. In other words, walk the walk and don't just talk the talk.
I think, when you've got 30 or 35 or whatever the class is in front of you, it's easy to see this mob, but to have the chance to see a young person as an individual and to recognize the unique gift that person has. And you don't get that in an ordinary classroom, just in the ordinary doing of things. You have to have some personal time with that person, like where they get to talk about their special interests.
Well, I remember how you used to laugh, and I remember this, and I remember that. They don't remember all the long-range planning and all that, all of that work that we all did behind the scenes, but they remembered how we approached them. And back to Angela saying, look at the people in front of you, look at their gifts, look at if they're outgoing and wonderful, that's great. If they're timid and shy, encourage them. Those are the kind of seeds of leadership, I think, that we all have tried to practice, maybe in different styles. But
I think there's not enough of that, of encouraging or showing that you are a just person, that you can teach and bring that justice to the kids. I think that's what they look for. They want to see a teacher that's going to be just and fair and have great integrity for who they, I think those things, that's what kids really build on. They grow. They become really the person God has meant them to be if they come to recognize it in themselves. And we help them do that.
All my life, I read a while back was, don't walk ahead of me, I may not follow. Do not walk behind me, I may not know the way. Walk beside me, and we'll do it together. So I think that's kind of my mantra.
Angela lived in the 16th century, and she wants a sort of consensus leadership. The famous last legacy where she says, if in time you should have to change any of these rules, that's fine, just, change them as times require. But if you're going to do that, you do it with prayer of the whole community, and with talking to the whole community and listening to the whole community. This is in a time when the divine right of kings was the popular background for authority and leadership. So I found it quite lovely that she would want us to govern by consensus.
she was also a great reconciler. She was able to bring people together who didn't seem to get along, and she was able to help people to negotiate. So as a woman of her time, it was very unusual that she would have that role as a reconciler, as a person who would help people to negotiate. In her way of ordering the community that she felt very strongly about founding, she was very clear that everyone in the community had an important role. She was very clear that whether you were a young woman entering the community or whether you were a very wealthy, wise, rich widow, that each person had equal space in terms of dignity and respect.
Person. She knew that she couldn't do everything herself, and she got people to work with her. And she gathered other women who had a lot more influence in her eyes than she thought she had. They even had financial support that she might not have had. Because if she was going to get this job done, if she was going to work with bringing the best out of people, she would do it with other people. And for me, that kind of leadership that recognizes the dignity of the person is kind of the key, I think.
There's a plaque on the wall where Angela lived, and on that plaque, it sort of faces the road so that all people could see it. And that speaks loudly insofar as that I see Angela and our own leadership styles, is that it says that she raised herself above the ruins of this world to become a saving power of all humankind. And to me, I see leadership that way, that we, in following in Angela's footsteps, is that we need to raise ourselves above the ruins of the world, to be able to see the needs of the world. And I really believe that Angela searched and always searched for that need and then acted upon it. And I think that's what we're called to do as leaders or as people who are trying to enrich our world in a special way, to make it a better world.
When they got to grade 7 or grade 8, if they were really motivated, they went on to outside of Quebec to go to college, but very few of them did. So all these young women were in the village with nothing to do and no background, and had young children of their own. And I had a background in early childhood education. So I saw the needs of the times. That's one of the other things that Angela asked us to do, to be aware of the needs, a sensitivity to the needs of the times. So I brought them together and instructed them in childcare and parenting.
Here we are, many, many, many years later, still inspired by her sense of considering, reflecting, thinking, making decisions for the future, and knowing that this is all good. This is the work of God and the work of the Spirit of God and Angela with us.
She always wanted to bring the best out in people. And being the woman of faith that she was, she believed that within every single person God dwelled. And I think she brought that to her approach.
Angela again and again asks her leaders to know the people they're working with, to know the sisters. Not just in the sense of know your audience, so you can make your political points, but to know them as people because they are special and important to you.
What I admire in Angela was her ability to be a risk taker, to trod where nobody had trodden, and to go forth with courage and with a sense of I can do it.
Love the children, show you love them first, then you will be able to teach them. They'll be open to it. And I think that's what Angela teaches us, to love one another and to affirm each other. Then there will be that giving and understanding and hope for the future.